A very warm good morning to all of you. It's a beautiful Monday morning and we're back once again with a fresh edition of Breakfast Show. I'm Preeti, with me is Anil, and it's a Monday morning, a fresh start of the week, and let's start this beautiful day and the week with this thought coming in from Larry Elder. Optimism, it's not just a mindset, it is a behavior. It is in the thought process, it is in the mindset that sets in the optimism, that sets in the positivity that runs through all through the day. In all of your work, isn't it?
Well, all through the day and all through the week is what we should all expect. You know, this is your one-stop show for all that matters in the world of politics, business, sports, entertainment, an action-packed day to look forward to. We've got the Bal Puraskar coming up today, also the 11th National Voters Day, and on the eve of the 72nd Republic Day, we'll have the presidential address coming later this evening. So loads and loads of stories to look forward to. You know, we'll cut all the noise, bring you facts as it happens here on this very show for the next 1 hour. Let's get started with the top headlines we're tracking at the top of this hour.
President Ram Nath Kovind to address the nation today on the eve of 72nd Republic Day. The address will be broadcast from 7 p.m. on the entire national network of All India Radio and telecast over all channels of Doordarshan in Hindi, followed by the English version.
th National Voters Day to be celebrated today. President Ram Nath Kovind to grace the occasion virtually as chief guest at the national function in New Delhi. Election Commission to formally launch electronic electoral photo identity card program.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with Pradhan Mantriraj Puraskar awardees via video conferencing. 32 children awarded Pradhan Mantriraj Puraskar 2021.
Golden Jubilee celebrations of Himachal Pradesh statehood begins today. Union Home Minister Amit Shah to be the chief guest. Governor Bandaru Dattatreya will preside over the function.
India and China, 9th round of core commander-level military talks to address the ongoing military standoff in eastern Ladakh ends at 3 a.m. earlier today. Talks held at Maldo border post on the Chinese side.
The proposed tractor rally by farmers to be held amidst tight security after conclusion of Republic Day parade. Delhi police gives permission, says apprehension of disturbance in farmers' tractor rally with over 300 new Twitter handles in Pakistan.
First ever hybrid IFFI closes, honoring the best of world cinema. Into the Darkness bags Golden Peacock Award. Taiwanese director Chen Yan-ko wins the Best Director Award for The Silent Forest. Zhu Xuanliu adjudged Best Actor Male. Polish actor Sofia Starface receives the Best Actor Female. Indian Personality of the Year awardee Biswati Chatterjee says Bangladesh and India are one, not separate.
Well, and Delhi and North India continue to experience cold wave due to western disturbance. No respite from bone-chilling cold till last days of January.
All right, those were the the headlines we're tracking this hour. Let's get to news in detail. We begin with the national headlines first.
Well, the top story there coming from the presidential address on the eve of Republic Day. President Ram Nath Kovind will address the nation today on the eve of the 72nd Republic Day. The address will be broadcast from 7 p.m. on the entire national network of All India Radio and over all channels of Doordarshan in Hindi, followed by the English version. It will then be followed by the broadcast in regional languages on regional channels of Doordarshan. AIR will broadcast regional language versions from 9:30 p.m. onwards on its respective regional networks.
And the National Election Commission of India the Election Commission of India is celebrating its National Voters Day today. President Ram Nath Kovind will be the chief guest at national function organized by the Election Commission in New Delhi. During the event, the President will confer the national awards for the year 2020-21 and will launch the Commission's web radio, Hello Voters. Now, this online digital radio service will stream over awareness programs and will be accessible through a link on the Election Commission's website. The national awards for the best electoral practices will be conferred on state and district level officers for their outstanding performance in the conduct of the elections. National awards will also be given to important stakeholders like national icons, CSOs and media groups for their valuable contribution towards voters' awareness. The theme of this year's National Voters Day is making our voters empowered, vigilant, safe and informed. This year's theme envisages active and participative voters during elections. It also focuses on the Commission's commitment towards conducting elections safely during the pandemic. The National Voters Day is celebrated on January 25th every year since 2011 to mark the foundation day of Election Commission of India on 25th of January 1950. Dedicated to the voters of the country, the day is utilized to spread awareness among voters and for promoting informed participation in the electoral process. Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad will launch the e-Epic program and distribute e-Epics and elector photo identity cards to 5 new voters. Now, e-Epic is a digital version of the elector photo identity card, and the minister will also release 3 publications of the Election Commission during the event.
For more on that story,
yes.
For more on that story, our correspondent Vikas Sathi joining us this morning. Vikas, good morning. Vikas, give us the sense, the importance of this particular day and how does it, this is the 11th edition of the National Voters Day, and how do things change this time around?
Right, Anil. Every year, Election Commission comes with a new campaign for this for the National Voters Day, and this time, as the name suggests, this year the focus is on keeping voters informed and safe at the same time, because everybody knows that during the pandemic, even Election Commission conducted important elections not only in the state of Bihar, but Rajya Sabha elections were also conducted, and at least on 60 seats by-elections were also conducted during COVID-19 pandemic. So the focus was very clear that this time we want to inform the voter, we want to keep them vigilant and at the same time keep them safe. And apart from it, the Election Commission has come with a recent development that now electoral photo identity will be available digital as well. So that is also the part of this year's National Voters Day. It's a very important role Election Commission play in the democracy. Every time it conducts impartial, independent elections, and ensure that even in the challenging times of a pandemic, Election Commission has all capacity and will to conduct free and fair elections. So this year, the subject of National Voters Day is quite clear that voters must be informed, must be vigilant, but at the same time they should remain safe as well.
All right, Vikas, thank you so much for joining us with those updates. We'll come back to you again during the day once the program begins. All right, let's get to other important news now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with Pradhan Mantriraj Puraskar awardees today via video conferencing. The government has been conferring the award to children with exceptional abilities and outstanding achievement in the fields of innovation, scholastic achievements, sports, art and culture, social service and bravery. Now this year, 32 applicants from across the country under different categories of Bal Shakti Puraskar have been selected for the award.
But for more on this story, we got our correspondent Arun Sharma joining us with details. Arun, this time around, we have taken a look at 32 awardees there. But this time around, what's unique when it comes to Bal Puraskars?
Well, talking about the uniqueness of this time, Rashtriya Bal Puraskar is that this is for the first time that this event is being organized online. That means from the virtual mode. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be interacting via virtual mode with these 32 children or the Bal Puraskar awardees. Now, these 32 Bal Puraskar awardees are from 32 districts from 21 states and UTs all across the country. And this is for the first time, as I mentioned earlier, they're connecting virtually. Now, there are 6 broad categories under which these, 32 awardees are being awarded. One is art and culture. Second is bravery. Third is scholastic achievements and activities. Fourth is social services. Fifth is sports category. And last but not the least, which is also close to the heart of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and this is innovation part. We have seen that how often the government has given a various platform by various initiatives of the government so that the students and the youngsters of our country can showcase their talent, their innovations, and they can contribute as far as New India is concerned. Now, as far as the awards to these 32 awardees are concerned, yes, they are being awarded. But yes, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's focus is that how can each and every children of our country, how can each and every youngster of our country can contribute in this mission of making New India. And these 6 categories will play an important role. Now, various students who are being awarded today have also showcased their talent on the national platform as well as on the international platform when it comes to sports and art and culture and various other initiatives as well. So that's the idea of the government, that as to that by awarding these kids, how can they be motivated, and how can other kids or the students or the children of our country can get inspired and motivated by these kind of initiatives, so that they can contribute as far as nation building is concerned, as far as New India is concerned, as far as Atmanirbhar Bharat is concerned. And we have often seen, Anil and Preeti, that during the COVID pandemic time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has interacted with the students of various universities and colleges as well during this pandemic time, and he has often given a message of Atmanirbhar Bharat, vocal for local, and how can these youngsters of our country can contribute in that direction. So why these broad categories, why they're specified, or the specialized area in which they are contributing as of now, how can they make India Atmanirbhar or self-reliant, and how can their appeal for vocal for local can contribute India's mission for vocal for local. So all these are very much likely when Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with these 32 awardees. Remember, this is for the first time that this event of Bal Puraskar awardees interaction with Prime Minister Narendra Modi is happening in a virtual mode.
All right, this event is happening in a virtual mode. Arun, you also talked about how rather the different categories in which these children are selected. 32 applicants had been received from across the country. Talk more about what was the eligibility criteria, or on what basis are the awardees shortlisted?
Well, government has received application under this Rashtriya Bal Puraskar mission from all across the country, but these 32 awardees are being selected. Now, we should not forget this fact that these 32 awardees are coming from 32 districts of our country, and from Tier 2 town, Tier 3 towns. That means facing difficulties in their life, facing all the adversities in their life. They have come out to this such big level, or the national level, and this is the big criteria. When it comes to bravery, when it comes to social services, when it comes to art and culture, innovation, sports category primarily. So when you look at the biotype, because I was reading the achievements of most of the children, who are being awarded, they have faced a lot of adversities in their life, and despite coming from a very economically low background, but then they performed very well in their life, and yes, they are being awarded as far as this Rashtriya Bal Puraskar is concerned. And we have seen that how government's ecosystem or giving platform to the youngsters of our country has also played an important role as far as showcasing the talent is concerned. So specifically talking about innovations part, Preeti, we have seen that how government of India has come out with an initiative called Atal Innovation Mission, where students of right from 5th standard can innovate in the labs which are being constructed, or which are being there in the various schools of our country. So now earlier there was no platform for the students where they could showcase their talent as far as innovations is concerned, but now under the Atal Innovation Mission, these youngsters or the students can innovate for our country, can innovate for themselves, can innovate for the society, and can contribute as far as New India is concerned. There are initiatives like Atmanirbhar Bharat App Innovation Challenge. We have seen that how youngsters participated massively under this innovation challenge, and they came out in large number as far as innovation is concerned. It is only the one appeal of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi that motivates the youngsters of our country. Second, in last 6.5 years, the government has provided various ecosystems so that they can, the youngsters of our country can showcase their talent, and they can contribute as far as New India is concerned. And in that context, today's day is very much significant when these youngsters will be interacting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. I remember when last time, Preeti and Anil, when these youngsters, when they physically interacted with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, their enthusiasm was at peak. But I'm sure that even though these kids are, interacting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi today in a virtual mode, but the enthusiasm is, as always, will be at peak because they're interacting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and many of them believe Prime Minister Narendra Modi to be their motivator and inspiration. As I talk to their mentor as well, so they say that the youngsters of our country do consider Prime Minister Narendra Modi there as their inspirational guide and of course motivator. And when they interact today with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, it will be a big day for these 32 awardees who are interacting via virtual with Prime Minister Modi.
Okay, Arun, you mentioned about a dream come true, especially for those 32 kids, who are going to get the Bal Puraskar. But, this particular interaction that these kids have with the Prime Minister, will that inspire millions of kids, who are sitting on the TV screens, getting an opportunity to see these kids, interacting with the Prime Minister? Will that give them a window to stretch their limits and dream big?
Well, absolutely. It happens all the time. Not only kids and children, but the parents also do get inspired and motivated that how can their youngster or their kids can perform better so that they can come on national platform as well. So yes, it's an inspiration, a window for millions of students, the youngster who will be watching them live during this interaction. And we've often seen that Prime Minister Narendra Modi believes in one thing. And last time also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi mentioned this to the awardees of the Rashtriya Bal Puraskar, that if you're interacting with the Prime Minister, that does not mean that you have achieved everything in your life. You have to do more for the society, for the nation, and of course for the nation building as well. So this is just a small milestone in your life, but this is not the final destination of your life, and you have to contribute it more. So this is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said to the awardees last year when he interacted, as far as the Bal Puraskar awardees are concerned. But this is happening in the virtual mode, and we have often seen that during this entire COVID pandemic time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he has interacted with various students of various college institutions and universities as well. And he's mentioned this one important point. I mean, he's always mentioned and made sure that how can themes like Atmanirbhar Bharat, vocal for local, innovations in our country can get a major push by the youngsters. And it is the youngsters who can make these initiatives like Atmanirbhar Bharat, vocal for local successful. Because if in case the 65% of our country, which is a young crowd, if they can contribute immensely as far as these initiatives are concerned, it can become, a global product. And of course, brand India's image can be showcased on the global level. And in that context, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be very much significant because his vision will be very much important, because specifically he is going to interact in this new decade. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to interact in this new year. What is his vision as far as new decade is concerned? It is going to be very significant.
All right, the first interaction of the decade. Thank you so much, Arun, for joining us with those inputs. So it is basically, the idea that given the massive youth population we have, interactions with these initiatives like such definitely, kickstart the
Prime Minister has a knack, just
imagination.
Just as Arun mentioned, Prime Minister last time around had a physical kind of interaction with the kids. This time around not there, but surely the kids, it's a golden opportunity for the kids to learn and also to inspire other kids who are in front of the television screens to do something for the nation. Well, moving on now to the Golden Jubilee celebrations for the state of Himachal Pradesh. It will be held in the capital city of Shimla today to mark 50 years of Himachal Pradesh attaining full statehood. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will address the event through video conferencing, while BJP National President JP Nadda will attend the ceremony. A special postage stamp will be issued on this occasion, and an exhibition based on the state's development journey will also be inaugurated. Besides, a cultural program will be organized in which the cultural heritage of all the districts of the state will be showcased. Apart from the capital Shimla, Golden Jubilee celebrations will also be held in all the district headquarters and subdivisions of Himachal Pradesh. On 25th of January 1971, Himachal Pradesh was given full state status and became the 18th state of the country. Despite difficult geographical conditions and limited resources, the state has made phenomenal progress in the last 50 years in all areas, including agriculture, road construction, education, health, tourism, power generation, and today Himachal Pradesh is counted among the richest states of the country.
India and China concluded the 9th round of Corps Commander level talks early morning today. The meeting, which started at 10 a.m. on Sunday in Moldo, ended at 3 a.m. today morning. Details of the outcomes of the meeting are yet to be out.
Well, the Delhi Police and the Farmers Union have reached an agreement on the modalities to carry out the tractor rally on Republic Day. The Delhi police has informed the media that the farmers will be allowed to hold the tractor rally at a stretch of more than 60 kilometers at each of the border points at Singhu, Tikri and Ghazipur.
फार्मर्स का संयुक्त किसान मोर्चा का उनकी जो इच्छा ट्रैक्टर रैली के रूप में दिल्ली में आकर उसे निकालने की थी, उसको रेस्पेक्ट करते हुए दिल्ली के 3 जगहों से टर्न कराकर एक रेस्पेक्टेबल स्ट्रेच, जो अगर उसको हम उसका आकलन करें तो करीब 63 से 64 किलोमीटर का स्ट्रेच टिकरी बॉर्डर से एंटर करने पर, और वही करीब 62-63 किलोमीटर का स्ट्रेच जब हम सिंघू बॉर्डर से एंटर करते हैं तब, और गाजीपुर से जब एंटर करते हैं तो तकरीबन 46 किलोमीटर का जो स्ट्रेच जो टोटल साइकिल है, इस पर इन प्रिंसिपल एग्रीमेंट हो गया है.
Well, the farmers and the tractor rally will be provided full-proof security cover so that no untoward incident occurs. The Delhi police also said that there were significant intelligence inputs that elements from Pakistan will be trying to use the occasion to disturb law and order. But the Delhi police has made plans for adequate deployment along the all necessary routes.
जो फार्मर्स ये जो प्रोटेस्ट है, जो ट्रैक्टर रैली है, इसको डिस्टर्ब करने के लिए 308 ट्विटर हैंडल पाकिस्तान से जनरेट हुए हैं और वो कॉन्टिन्यूअस इस पर काम कर रहे हैं. तो इसका भी ध्यान रखते हुए इस विषय पर भी उनके साथ एक सशक्त संवाद पैदा किया. इन जगहों पे एक हाई लेवल का एक फेल प्रूफ सिक्योरिटी, उन सिक्योर्ड वातावरण में, सिक्योर्ड माहौल में और सिक्योर्ड रूट पर उनकी ट्रैक्टर रैली को हम सफल तरीके से संपन्न करा पाएं.
Up next, we take a look at the COVID situation from across the worst affected states of the country. Kerala reported maximum number of new cases yesterday. 6,960 positive cases were reported yesterday. Besides, 5,283 patients were discharged. 23 patients died in the last 24 hours. In Maharashtra, 2,752 new cases were registered yesterday. 1,743 patients were discharged, while 45 patients died in the past 24 hours. Currently, there are 44,831 active cases in Maharashtra. Tamil Nadu continues to report a stable COVID-19 case tally, with the daily number staying below the 600 mark. A total of 569 persons tested positive for the disease across the state yesterday. 7 deaths were reported, while 642 patients were discharged in the last 24 hours. Talking of national capital Delhi, 185 new cases of the infection were reported yesterday. 315 patients were cured and discharged, while 9 patients died in the past 24 hours. And currently, there are 1,741 active cases in Delhi.
Well, more than 31,000 healthcare workers were vaccinated in 5 states on the 9th day of the massive countrywide COVID-19 vaccination program on Sunday. Around 693 sessions were held on Sunday. The cumulative number of healthcare workers vaccinated against COVID-19 has crossed 16 lakh through 28,613 sessions. Only 10 adverse event following immunization or AEFIs have been reported so far. The most common AEFIs reported so far are fever, pain at the injection point and dizziness. The Health Ministry defines AEFIs as any untoward medical occurrence which follows immunization and which does not necessarily have a causal relationship with the usage of the vaccine.
While the spell of cold wave continues in Delhi and rest of North India due to western disturbance, brace yourselves up as no respite from the bone-chilling cold is likely till the last days of January.
The northern part of India is currently facing a spell of cold wave caused due to western disturbance further northeastwards on Sunday from Jammu and Kashmir is likely to pick up pace in coming days as predicted by the IMD. Delhi faced a thick layer of fog on Sunday morning that impacted the commuters due to low visibility. IMD predicts a further dip in temperature in the capital. On the other hand, Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj also faced a fresh spell of dense fog all across the city on Sunday morning.
चलने में बड़ी परेशानी हो रही है, हाथ में ठंडक लग रही है, स्कूटर में जो है कोहरा है, सांस लेने में दिक्कत हो रही है।
शीत लहर से बहुत वो है, ठंड भी बहुत अधिक है, कोहरा में दिखाई भी नहीं दे रहा, लेकिन मजबूरी है।
West Bengal's Asansol woke up to a foggy morning on Sunday, whereas a thick blanket of fog engulfed Haryana and Ambala as well. On the other hand, tourists were overjoyed with the fresh snowfall in Poonch district of Jammu and Kashmir. The Dholada range faced rainfall as well that has come as a sigh of relief for the farmers.
इस सर्दियों की ये पहली ठंड हम बोल सकते हैं, क्योंकि इससे पहले इतनी ज़्यादा ठंड नहीं थी और मौसम विभाग की भविष्यवाणी ये भी है कि अगले 2 या 3 दिनों में ये ठंड और बढ़ सकती है और पारा और नीचे गिर सकता है।
बारिश हो रही है तो वो किसानों के लिए काफ़ी लाभदायक है, इससे फसलों को काफ़ी राहत मिलेगी।
The IMD has predicted dry northwesterly winds that will persist for next 3 to 4 days over plains of north and adjoining parts of central and western India. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Well, moving to Goa and IFFI, 9 days of cultural bonanza at the 51st International Film Festival of India concluded with a grand closing ceremony in Goa. So the curtains came down on the first ever hybrid International Film Festival of India, honoring the best of world cinema. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Amit Khare said the occasion, that this particular occasion of this year's IFFI marks the triumph of human spirit over the pandemic.
The closing ceremony of the 51st edition of the International Film Festival of India was held in the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Stadium in Goa on Sunday. The glittering ceremony was attended by Goa Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari, Minister of State for Environment, Forests and Climate Change Babul Supriyo, Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant and INB Secretary Amit Khare among others. Each of the dignitaries present expressed happiness at the successful holding of the film festival.
जो आज देश का संचालन कर रहे हैं, जो मैं सोचता हूँ कि जिनका जो संकल्प है वो शायद हिमालय से भी ज़्यादा कठोर है, कड़ा है, तो ऐसे प्रधानमंत्री के रहते और उनके प्रेरणा से और भाई प्रकाश जावड़ेकर जी केंद्रीय मंत्री के सहयोग से और सबसे अधिक आज जो फिल्म जगत के all over the globe, all over the world, because I am told that here are more than 60 films were presented here. तो ऐसा एक प्रकार से इस कोविड काल में आप सब लोगों ने साहस के साथ और इतना काम किया, इतना सुंदर प्रदर्शन किया, मैं आप सब लोगों को अपनी ओर से बधाई देता हूं।
I must say that IFFI 2020 has conquered all the ifs and buts to ensure that there is no if when it comes to the closeness and the bonding between human beings, our emotions and cinema.
कोरोना के महामारी दौर में फिल्म और मनोरंजन की जगत में अपना रचनात्मक बरकरार रखा। तमाम दिक्कतों के बाद इतनी मौजूदगी के साथ क्रिएटिविटी बनाने रखने की बेहतरीन इस दुनिया पर फिल्म जगत की शानदार पेशकशी इस कार्यक्रम योगदान गया।
ये पहली बार हुआ है पूरे एशिया में कि हमने गोवा सरकार, एंटरटेनमेंट सोसाइटी ऑफ गोवा और भारत सरकार के फिल्म निदेशालय ने मिलकर पूरे एशिया में पहली बार एक ऐसा फिल्म फेस्टिवल किया है जिसमें तकनीक भी है, जिसमें गीत संगीत भी है, जिसमें फिल्म है और ये भारत के उत्कृष्ट कला को भी दिखाता है, हमारी उत्कृष्ट तकनीक को भी दिखाता है।
Another yesteryear actor who was felicitated was Bishwajit Chatterjee, who was named IFFI's Personality of the Year.
मैं आप सब लोगों का आभारी हूँ। मुझे ये प्रेस्टिजियस अवार्ड दिया गया, उसके लिए मैं भारत सरकार को और IB मिनिस्ट्री को मैं दिल से स्वागत करता हूँ और धन्यवाद दे रहा हूँ।
Yesteryear actress Zeenat Aman was felicitated, as was Bhojpuri superstar Ravi Kishan, for their contribution to films.
I want to thank the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India, for inviting me to this closing ceremony of IFFI. Celebrating its 51st edition, IFFI continues to honor contemporary filmmakers for their outstanding work in cinema. Due to the pandemic, the film industry needed resilience, as many of the speakers ahead of me have said, and IFFI is one such institution which could effectively provide it at the right place and at the right time.
ये मुझे सम्मान IFFI से मिला, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है इस मंच पर आके। मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा एक ऐसे व्यक्तित्व को जिनकी वजह से मैं राजनीति में आया, यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को। आज देश, आज ये IFFI फेस्टिवल पूरे वर्ल्ड में कहीं फेस्टिवल नहीं हो रहा है, इस भारत में हो रहा है।
Festival Director Chaitanya Prasad, who has been credited with making the concept of a hybrid festival a reality, thanked everyone for their support.
Today we are extremely proud that we did a festival unique and the only kind as far as the international circuit is concerned. And finally, on my own behalf, I can say I feel very relieved. We worked towards a goal. We wanted to create excellence of cinema. We wanted to create a content which would be unmatched. And the cinema which came to Goa, which we showcased, the world has appreciated it. The media has appreciated it. The online buzz of IFFI 51 is there.
A packed auditorium also watched as video messages from film greats from across the world, including megastar Amitabh Bachchan. The day also saw the announcement of awards in various categories. Rukma Datta's report from Goa for DD India.
Alright, IFFI there. The 51st edition of IFFI comes to a close. Actor Amitabh Bachchan has applauded the government of India for holding the India International Film Festival of India amidst the pandemic. Let's listen into this voice, a video message rather.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं अमिताभ बच्चन। पिछले तकरीबन एक साल दुनिया उस दौर से गुजरी जिसे शायद ही कोई भूल पाएगा। कोविड के चलते जहां दुनिया रुक सी गई थी, सभी बड़े बड़े कार्यक्रम रद्द हो गए थे, वहां वो सब कार्यक्रम वर्चुअली आयोजित किए जा रहे थे। तो मैं सोच रहा था कि कब स्थिति नॉर्मल होगी और कब आप सबसे मिलने का मुझे अवसर प्राप्त होगा। लेकिन देखिए, ये सब तभी संभव हुआ जब हमारी सरकार ने IFFI को आयोजित करने का निर्णय लिया। चुनौतियों को सफलताओं में बदलना हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी हमेशा कहते आए हैं, और देखिए IFFI इसका बहुत बड़ा उदाहरण बन गया। इस बार इसका आयोजन हाइब्रिड फॉर्म में हुआ, यानी आप गोवा पहुंचकर अगर इसमें शामिल नहीं हो पाए तो आप वर्चुअली इसके साथ जुड़ सकते हैं। ऐसे वक्त में जब हम सभी डर कर अपने अपने घर पर बैठे हुए थे, IFFI के ऑर्गेनाइजर्स ने इसकी तैयारी की और दुनिया भर का बेहतरीन सिनेमा हमारे लिए उन्होंने पेश किया। जैसे कि मुझे मालूम है कि इस बार 60 देशों की फिल्में इस फेस्टिवल में आई और सबसे बड़ा आकर्षण बनी देश भर से विभिन्न भाषाओं में इंडियन पैनोरामा में चयनित फिल्में, जैसे कि तमिल, तेलुगु, मराठी, आसामी आदि। मैं IFFI को आयोजित करने में और उसे सफल बनाने में जितने भी लोगों ने अपना योगदान दिया है, उनका मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं, उन्हें धन्यवाद देता हूं। साथ ही साथ मैं सरकार को भी धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं, जिन्होंने ऐसी कठिन परिस्थितियों में, इस मुश्किल घड़ी में भी सिनेमा को जिंदा रखा। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। नमस्कार।
All right, the cinema was kept alive during this crisis.
Well, one of the sternest tests, especially when it comes to the pandemic, this particular film festival facing the heat and pulling off one of the best festivals that one could see, especially in this world when many festivals are not running. So clearly a clear achievement there, especially for IFFI and the management.
Yes, indeed. Up next, we have our next segment, Across the Globe, wherein we get you all the international updates. U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has said that former President Donald Trump's approaching second impeachment trial in the Senate will be fair but will move at a relatively faster pace. The leaders of the U.S. Senate had agreed on January 23rd to push back Trump's impeachment trial by 2 weeks, giving the chamber more time to focus on Democratic President Joe Biden's legislative agenda and cabinet nominees before turning to the contentious showdown over Trump. The Democratic-controlled House of Representatives impeached Trump earlier this month for inciting the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. The Senate trial on the charge will begin from 8th of February.
Well, a quick look at updates on COVID-19 from across the world and how are the numbers stacking up Over 9 crore 97 lakh 30,000 people have contracted COVID-19 world over, while more than 7 crore 17 lakh 9,700 people have recovered from the virus. The number of lives lost due to COVID-19 stand about 21 lakh 37,800. US continues to be the worst affected in terms of cases as well as fatalities. US caseload now crossing the 2 crore 56 lakh 87,800 mark, while the country has registered more than 4 lakh 29,200 deaths, followed by Brazil, where the death toll has now crossed 2 lakh 17,000.
Russia has said that it could supply Hungary with its Sputnik 5 COVID-19 vaccine from next month after Budapest gave initial approval to the shot. The approval is independent of the European Union and could cause tensions with Brussels as the vaccine has not been approved by the European Medical Agency. Russia had filed for registration of its vaccine in the bloc. Some countries such as Argentina have based the decision to use Sputnik 5 on the data provided by Russia from its large-scale phase 3 trial. Others, such as the UAE, granted approval following their own domestic trials.
Well, Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has tested positive for COVID-19. The 67-year-old president revealed that his symptoms were light and that he was receiving medical treatment. In a tweet, he said, and I quote, "As always, I am optimistic." Well, Mexico is already under the grip of COVID-19. Mexico's death toll from COVID-19 is approaching close to 150,000, which is among the world's one of the world's highest death tolls. Mexican health officials say that the number of cases and deaths is likely to be significantly higher than the official data. Defying repeated calls by authorities, Mexicans have nevertheless met to celebrate Christmas and New Year holidays, triggering the number of cases to rise tremendously. The country has over 17,52,300 cases of COVID-19 so far.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday said that the country will be closing its international airport from Monday to restrict the spread of COVID-19 and the new strains. Flights will be allowed to land or take off from Israel till the end of January. Prime Minister Netanyahu said that the airport will be hermetically shut down except for unusual cases to prevent entry of COVID-19 strains and allow for the efficient continuation of the national vaccination effort.
Egypt on Sunday started vaccinating frontline medical staff against COVID-19 using the jab developed by China National Pharmaceutical Group, Sinopharm. Health Minister Hala Zayed said that the vaccine will be given free of cost first to all doctors and frontline workers treating COVID-19 patients, after which it will be provided to other medical workers, senior citizens and people with chronic illness. She said on Sunday, the country secured an additional 40 million vials from one company and 20 million from another without specifying their origin, but bringing the total to 100 million doses. Egypt has so far recorded a total of 1,61,143 cases and have lost over 8,902 lives due to COVID-19.
Dutch police have detained over 100 protesters for triggering violence during the protest against COVID-19-induced lockdown restrictions in central Amsterdam. The police used water cannons, dogs and mounted police to disperse the protest, which came just a day after the government introduced a night curfew for the first time since World War II. Fearing a riot or a disease-spreading event, the mayor there had designated the square as a high-risk zone and gave police the power to preemptively frisk people for weapons. Netherlands has registered over 9,48,000 cases of COVID-19 with around 13,540 fatalities. And also, the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket has successfully completed a mission to deploy 143 spacecraft and satellites into the orbit on Sunday. The rocket once returned safely to a sea-based landing pad later. SpaceX is calling Transporter 1 its first small-sat rideshare program mission. Falcon 9 carried and deployed a payload of 133 commercial and government spacecrafts and 10 Starlink satellites, according to a press release.
Well, rescuers in China have freed 11 gold miners alive on Sunday. The miners were trapped hundreds of meters underground for 14 days after an explosion ripped through a gold mine in East China's Shandong province. 22 workers were caught underground during the explosion in Xinxia city on Jan 10th. The fate of 10 other miners remain unknown as rescue operations continue to try and locate them.
Up next is our segment Web Review, wherein a colleague joins us and lets us know what all has been put forth in the different web portals across social media.
Well, we've got our colleague Amrit Pal waiting by to join us. Amrit, good morning. Welcome to the show. What do we have for us?
Well, good morning, Anil. It's a cold morning today, and most newspapers have led with the cold conditions. We will talk about that, but let's begin with the Indian Express, which talks about, it says, police nod for tractor rally, 3 routes from borders chalked out. As you know, the government has allowed the protesting farmers to hold a tractor rally in Delhi on the 26th of January. That's Republic Day tomorrow. But the police has clarified that adequate security arrangements are in place. This rally will only take place after the Republic Day parade is over. After that, the police will remove barricades from 3 different borders of Delhi, the Singhu border, the Tikri border, and the Ghazipur border, and they'll be allowed to bring in tractors. They'll not be allowed to bring in any kind of weapons or even sticks. Only 5 people will be allowed, 5 persons will be allowed to get onto the tractor. And these routes are the distance for the Singhu border will be about 62 kilometers from the Tikri border. The tractors will pass through Nangloi, Najafgarh, Jaroda, and the KMP Expressway. They've chalked out a route for about 64 kilometers for the march, and from the Ghazipur border, a route of 46 kilometers has been cleared for farmers to hold out a tractor rally. While all this goes on, Pakistan is trying to fish in troubled waters. 308 Pakistan-based Twitter handles are trying to disrupt the Farmers' Republic Day rally. This is what the Delhi police claims. Delhi police on Sunday said that over 300 Twitter handles have been generated in Pakistan to create disturbance during the farmers' rally in the national capital. They have intelligence that these between January 13th and 18th, these Twitter handles were created to create confusion. This is what the Delhi police special CP said yesterday. The other news is from the Times of India. It says bar councils of 5 states call for a Supreme Court bench in South India. Now, in a move, the bar councils of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Kerala came together unanimously and demanded a Supreme Court bench in South India. They say the motive is to keep in mind the demand and because a lot of people relinquish the idea of approaching the highest court due to lack of reach and their inability to afford costs of reaching a faraway Supreme Court. So this is the bar councils of these 5 southern states have demanded a bench of the Supreme Court in South India. Talking about cold, now the Mint is leading with the story of cold. It says fresh spell of cold wave in north and central India, very dense fog in Punjab and Uttar Pradesh. It says the cold wave is likely to continue over the next 3 days and cold conditions prevail in isolated pockets over Punjab and Haryana. Parts of North India are also experiencing a fresh spell of chill during the next 3 to 4 days with cold to severe cold wave conditions taking place over the plains. With the movement of the western disturbance further northeastwardly on Sunday from Jammu and Kashmir, The dry northwesterly winds are likely to pick up from today afternoon and persist during the subsequent 3 to 4 days over the plains of north, central and western India. So this is what the newspapers have carried prominently this morning. Anil and Preeti.
Well, thank you, Amrit, for that updates there from the social buzz of the stories that we might have missed picking up for our viewers.
All right, up next we get you the sports segment, wherein we'll get you all the action from the sports world.
Well, in an iconic comeback, Manchester United knocked Liverpool out of the FA Cup at Old Trafford. After a goalless meeting in the Premier League last week, the FA Cup battle of the English Giants gifted a treat for eye match for the fans with a handful of goals. In a 3-2 scoreboard, Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes scored for the Red Devils, while Egyptian striker Mohamed Salah scored both the goals for Liverpool on the losing end. United will face West Ham United in the 5th round of FA Cup. In another match, Chelsea defeated Luton Town 3-1 to reach the 5th round. Young English striker Tammy Abraham scored a hat-trick for the English side.
Up next, we get to the health segment. Tip every day we get for you to make sure that you remain in good health and spirits.
Colorectal cancer is one of the common cancers. Take a look at this report to know what measures can be taken to help reduce the risk of this particular cancer.
Colorectal cancer is one of the common cancers that may occur due to many causes.
Colorectal cancer, in the last 10 to 20 years, we have seen an increasing trend in India. The reason for the increase is possibly related to the diet, which is sometimes rich in proteins, very high protein diet, or some other risk factors. But in India, we think there are genetic factors and some possible role of carcinogens in the diet, which may be related to the increase in the earlier age group. Alteration in the bowel habit, along with blood and mucus in stool, I think this is a warning signal that the patients must get investigated and go to a surgeon. The surgeon would do a digital examination. He would examine the abdomen, and once the examination reveals anything suspected of a colorectal carcinoma, then whole battery of investigations will need to be done. The most important investigation is doing an colonoscopy.
One must consult a specialist in case of change in bowel habits, diarrhea, constipation that lasts longer than 4 weeks, blood in stool, persistent abdominal discomfort, cramps or pain, weakness, fatigue or unexplained weight loss.
Fortunately, the treatment of colorectal cancer can be done now completely with the help of a combination of surgery and chemotherapy. We now do the surgery by laparoscopic technique, minimal access technique, so that long incisions are not needed. We can do this through keyhole surgery, but if this training is not there, then even the open operation remains the best way to deal with it. The risk of colorectal cancer can be reduced by following a healthy lifestyle, which will have a combination of a balanced amount of exercise in the daily schedule, a balanced diet which should not be excessive in any one thing. We have 3 major components: carbohydrates, fats and proteins. High protein intake is being implicated towards having the risk of cancer, and smoking and alcohol are also additional risks.
Taking precautions may reduce the risk of colorectal cancer. Treating colon cancer at an early stage provides the great chance for cure. Kiran Bhardwaj, DD News.
All right, after that health segment, we get to history of the day, to wherein we get to the events which made this day special in history. Take a look.
On this day in 1915, Alexander Graham Bell inaugurated the US transcontinental telephone service, speaking from New York to Thomas Watson in San Francisco. This day in year 1971, Himachal Pradesh became the 18th state of Indian Union. On 18 December 1970, the State of Himachal Pradesh Act was passed by Parliament. On this day in 1980, Mother Teresa was honoured by the highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna. She devoted her life to serving the poor and destitute around the world. In 1979, Mother Teresa was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize and became a symbol of charitable selfless work. This day in year 2004, second of two NASA rovers sent to explore Mars landed on the surface of the planet to look for signs of water. On this day in 2011, the first National Voters Day was observed. In order to encourage more young voters to take part in the political process, government decided to celebrate January 25 every year as National Voters Day.
And we've told you how the cold will be, witnessed all through the end of January. But up next is the weather report, wherein we get you more details of the weather. With the movement of western disturbance further northeastward from Jammu and Kashmir, dry northwesterly winds very likely to pick up from today and will persist during the subsequent 3 to 4 days over plains of north and adjoining parts of central and western India. Because of this, current spell of dense fog to very dense fog in isolated areas will be witnessed in Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Uttar Pradesh, North Rajasthan, and also cold day to severe cold day conditions are likely over Uttar Pradesh during the next 2 days, and also over isolated pockets over Punjab, Haryana and Chandigarh during the next 24 hours. Added to that, cold wave to severe cold wave conditions are likely over North Rajasthan, and cold wave conditions in isolated pockets over Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh during 25th to 27th January and over West Uttar Pradesh and West Madhya Pradesh during the next 2 days. And now we take a look at temperatures across major cities of the country.
Well, as we are all set to celebrate the Republic Day tomorrow, Doordarshan is all set to bring the event live to your living rooms. Like every year, Doordarshan has made elaborate arrangements for the live telecast of Republic Day celebrations in the heart of the national capital. Let's take a look at arrangements made by Doordarshan for live streaming of this grand event.
The 72nd Republic Day celebrations of India, displaying cultural diversity and military might of the country, is going to be held on 26 January 2021 amid COVID-19 protocols. For several years, Doordarshan has been live streaming Republic Day celebrations, and this year again, the national broadcaster has made elaborate arrangements for live telecast of this grand event.
This Republic Day is coming at a very crucial juncture while the nation is fighting back against the pandemic and while observing all COVID precautions. The Doordarshan team has mounted a production for the Republic Day parade, which will be of a scale never before. We will have in total 48 cameras with several new angles and views, and also a lot of new technology. I was just shown the buggy camera, which is controlled wirelessly and which can bring in very close views of the marching contingents. Similarly, we have a 360-degree view as well. So I hope it will be a spectacular Republic Day.
The live production will bring footage from 48 countries, 6 Jimmy Jib, 4 PTZ cameras, 1 mobile buggy camera, several robotic cameras and 360-degree view cameras. An 80 feet high hydraulic crane will give a bird's eye view of the event. The mesmerizing event will be screened on 50 monitors controlled by a production room at the Rajpath.
नहीं, इम्प्रूवमेंट तो हमारा हमेशा का मोटो रहा है. हर साल हम इम्प्रूव करते रहते हैं. इस बार ये है कि जो लोग घर से देख पाएंगे, क्योंकि कम लोग यहाँ आ पाए हैं, उनको पिछले सालों से बहुत बेहतर कवरेज दिखाई देगी. जैसे बगी कैम है, लेंसेज बहुत बेहतरीन लगाए हैं, जिससे बहुत सजीव आप सब लोग देख पाएंगे लाइव टेलीकास्ट इसका.
Cranes and robotic cameras have been placed right inside the president's enclosure so that the entire extravaganza could be covered from every angle. Cameras have been placed at the War Memorial and the India Gate to ensure that the visuals of this grand event could be live streamed in the best possible way. This time, highly sensitive microphones are being used at the Rajpath so that people watching the event at home could have a feel of all minute sounds.
Doordarshan has made very elaborate arrangements for integrated coverage of the entire parade from Rashtrapati Bhavan to National War Memorial. Very especially this time we have the type of microphones which we have installed. They are so sensitive that they can catch the footstep sounds of the contingents which are moving on the Rajpath. This is the event for which the whole nation waits, and globally also it is watched. All across the world, the people wait for it. For sign language interpretation also, arrangement has been made, and people can watch sign language version of the entire parade on DD News and DD Bharati.
So, be ready for this grand extravaganza full of patriotic fervor. The most experienced team of Doordarshan is all set to bring it to you. With Sudhir Yadav, Bureau Report, DD India.
The world's biggest and longest live production began in 1981. Every year we get to see something new. This time around we've got a buggy camera. That's going to be the new innovation that we brings in, and it's going to be a never-like experience, so you've got to stay tuned tomorrow morning to catch all the action as it unfolds there at Rajpath, and we will be your eyes and ears as we get you stories as it unfolds.
Yes, indeed. The preparations, the arrangements all in place. We're all set for tomorrow. On that note, we'll end this breakfast show here, but before we go, we leave you with beautiful images as a regular practice, and today we leave you with images of snowfall in London that has brought joy to the commuter towns of St. Albans and Hemel Hempstead. Take a look. Have a good day ahead, but before that, a quick reminder as well.
Well, mask on before you move on. That's the magic we all follow, because vaccines are around the corner, but we still need to take care of ourselves. Remember, this is your only shield in the fight against COVID, so let's not forget to wear that. We are at the fag end of the store. We are stepping out of the studios, so we're going to get us mask back on, and you too need to get it back on as you step out of your homes. Take a look. Bye-bye. Have a safe and wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye.